Hello there and welcome to a brand new episode of Spotlight on Sports. My name is Tariq Al-Arian and we're coming to you live tonight from the Ministry of Information Studios right here in downtown Kuwait. And I hope everyone out there is having a very nice evening wherever you may be watching this week's episode of the program, right here in the state of Kuwait or around the world. And we have a very special episode today. We're going to be talking about Gridiron football right here in the state of Kuwait. Gridiron, you may be wondering, what is that? Well, it's American football, and it is being played right here in the state of Kuwait. And we have with us Paul Williams, who is the head coach of the senior Kuwait Gridiron football team. And he's accompanied this evening by James Williams, who is the head coach of the under-19 Kuwait Gridiron football team. Gentlemen, we'd like to welcome you to tonight's program.
Thank you. Thanks for having us on.
Nice to have you with us right here on Spotlight on Sports. And we'll start with you, Coach Paul. Recently, the Kuwait Gridiron team, they played against, I think it's Neuchâtel Knights of Switzerland on Saturday, the 18th of January. The game finished in a 0-0 tie, but it was an exciting game. There was a lot of great action being played. Tell us a little bit about how that game went.
You know, I think, it went back and forth. Both offenses were struggling a little bit to find their way. The defenses of both teams were playing tough. And there was hard hitting going on, so it was really nice for our team to go against a physical team in the Neuchâtel Knights. Their average experience, I think, is 4 to 5 years playing.
So they were a physical team, huh?
Oh, a very physical team. And our experience was a half a game. Half our team played one game. Half our team, it was their first game ever. So, it was really a good time to see our guys be physical and match the physicality of the other team. And, it went pretty well. It was back and forth.
Coach, give us a game summary. I mean, it was a 0-0 tie. So usually when 0-0 ties, is what I know of football, usually that means it's a defensive struggle. But was it the other way around? Tell us. And feel free also, Coach James, to jump in on that too. Start out, Paul.
For us, defensively, we played tough. I mean, we didn't let them do anything they wanted to do. We forced them to stay out of rhythm, and we were tackling and physical. And we had a couple fumbles we recovered. We got a couple interceptions in the game. So we were really, physical, holding those guys out of the end zone.
What about you, Coach James? Well, how do you see the game go?
Yeah, I think they started off. Both teams offensively started off, really slow, like Coach Paul mentioned. And I think the Kuwait offensive line did really well. They got on engaged blocks. They just didn't finish. And that was kind of, I guess, the story of the night. It was just finishing, learning how to finish. And I think once we get back to practice and
that's something you need to work on then in training sessions, huh?
Oh yeah.
Just
what do you mean, like finishing? What, like punching it in the end zone?
Yeah, finishing off drives. The toughest thing in football is the offense really gelling. So that's the kind of the last thing. Defense, if you're physical, you can play well. But offense, the toughest thing is to score a touchdown against another team. So, the more we work on that, I think it's going to be really good as far as, because we were driving it there. So now we just got to punch it in. And we'll be able to do that the next game.
Yeah, hopefully with some more training on that to be able to get that in there. And it was a great game. There was a lot. We have some footage of that game. Let's take a look at that right now. And here we're taking a look at the opening ceremony, I believe, right? The Kuwait team coming out. Yeah. Comment a little bit about this, Coach
it's a
Paul
proud moment
James.
for the guys. Our captain, Faisal Jabri, he was carrying the flag and as one of our captains, and that's a big time for our team. They get their families standing out there, their friends, and they get to yell for Kuwait, and they have that name Kuwait and that flag on their jersey. That's a proud moment for them. It's really nice.
And here's also some shots of the Swiss team.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, and I think they really enjoyed coming here to play us.
I know also Sheikh Mishal Talal Al-Fad Sabah also had a nice whole 3 or 4 days planned for everyone. There was some field trips, excursions out and so forth. There was a very nice visit to one of the malls too.
Oh yeah, to the Avenues. We had a great trip at the Avenues, and Sheikh Mishal put it all together, and he really put on a great event.
Yeah, he works tirelessly.
Oh, yeah.
He's very committed, and he spends all his time at the practice sessions and very involved with his players.
Oh, yeah, and he's calling me we're talking at 3 or 4 in the morning about plans for the next week. Yeah, So he's really involved, and it's his baby, and we're working to help him. And
that Swiss team, like you said, they do look like some rugged, tough guys right there, huh? Look at those. Some guys, big guys there, huh?
Yeah, those guys are hard to move. For sure.
And this game was played at Kuwait University campus. There's the referees also. Yes. It was a bit of a windy day, a bit chilly that day, right?
Really
that
cold,
evening, huh?
Really cold. Breeze off of the water, but I think the energy of the guys. I don't think people really talked about how cold it was that much.
Yeah, because once you get in it, the momentum, the juices get flowing, and and the weather. We practiced in worse the last month, so rainy, this wasn't
rainy practices.
I think you have to practice in those kind of circumstances, right?
Definitely
to get ready for if it happens in a game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Play football a
bit later on, we're going to be talking about the Super Bowl. It's going to be played, I think, in New Jersey, and it's an outdoor stadium, right? So it could sno any time there. So
hopefully it does.
Hopefully it does. So that means you're rooting for Denver then, huh? I think the advantage of Denver in that. Well, we'll get to that a bit later on at the end of our segment here with you, gentlemen. But here we're taking a look at the Swiss team who were guests right here in Kuwait, and their national anthem and their opening for this game. And Coach Paul, I know you're a defensive back when you played in college.
Yes, sir. Yes.
You played college football in the United States, so you know a little bit about defense, I'm sure quite a bit. So how did the defense go in this friendly game last Saturday?
I think we had a few lapses, which comes with our second game playing ever. But I saw the energy of our guys. The thing I told them, I want every play to end in a tackle or we're going to get the ball, and every play in that game ended in a tackle or we got the ball. So those guys were flying around with high energy and physical guys. I mean, we were hitting them, and those guys were hurting the next day on the plane. I guarantee you. And that's the type of game we want to play.
There was nice attendance for this game, family members, and tell us about that, Coach James.
Yeah, we had a good crowd. It was good energy. When we had big plays, crowd was yelling,
cheering and rooting them on.
Yeah, we had the ambassador,
the U.S. ambassador to
U.S.
Kuwait.
ambassador to Kuwait.
I believe the Swiss ambassador also.
And the Swiss ambassador, yes. And they each brought crowds of their own, so it was a good atmosphere.
That was really nice.
Here we're taking a look at a rundown of the offensive line and taking a look at some of the.
Those are called the Big Uglies.
Yeah, they call them the Big Uglies offensive line, huh? I know also you played on the offensive line when you were in college, Coach, right?
I did, yeah.
So what do you think of our offensive line, which you guys call them the Big Uglies? How are they?
Yeah, that's what they try to call us. But
I think you don't like that nickname, huh?
No,
you're all
it's
suited
fun.
up though, Coach. So you're looking kind of suave those evening, huh?
Appreciate it. Yeah. But offensive line. That's my my old position. So I'm watching that most of the time, and I think like I said, Kuwait's offensive line did a pretty good job, and the trenches that's the main part of the game. If your offensive line is doing bad, the quarterback,
And the running back have a problem too, right? The trenches, you got to clear.
Got to open up lanes, protect the quarterback.
But I can see good sportsmanship in this game, huh? Yeah. As we're taking a look at some shots of the crowd, people in attendance, enjoying this game. This is the Swiss team, the Neuchâtel Knights, and our Kuwait Gridiron national team. And this game played last Saturday. It was January 18th, right here in the state of Kuwait at the Kuwait University campus in Shuwair. The game was a good game, a lot of great plays, but finished in a 0-0 tie. You rarely see that in football, though, right?
Yeah. Not as much anymore. They'll, some of the games now in college, they'll go 5 and 6 overtimes. Their coach, I think after a physical game, it was kind of mutually decided that, hey, we'll leave it where it is. And it was a great played game. The sportsmanship was good. So hey, let's leave it there and we'll move on. Keep everybody safe and healthy, so we can move on to play some more games.
Yeah, it was good atmosphere. And Coach James, as we said, you played college football in the United States, an offensive tackle. And how did you see the offense overall in this game? I think you're more on the offense side. How did you view the offense?
I think the offense, they did some good things. Each quarterback played to their strengths, and I know Coach.
What's our quarterback's strength? Do you have is he more of a, let's say, a runner, or does he have a good throws the ball deep, short? What can you say about our quarterback?
Yeah, we have a kind of a 1-2 punch with the quarterbacks, and say for Chow, he's more of a
we have a guy that's
a slinger,
more stand in the pocket. And he's always under control as a quarterback. You want a guy that's under control and has a good command. Now our other guy he's electric. He's got an electric arm and he's got speed. So so both of them can add something. So we use both, and they're both unselfish. So if the other guy's in, they're rooting for them. So they know they're both going to play and contribute. So they help each other out, and they work
good
hard.
Signal callers, managing the game well. I think the quarterback has to manage the game also well and control things and that.
And it was their first game playing, and they were under control. So it speaks to their hard work and dedication these last 8 months that they've put in. It's really been nice.
But now, why couldn't they punch it in though? Why there was no touchdown scored or a field goal? What was the problem there, Coach?
Yeah, I think the coach. It was the coach's fault.
Was the coach's
fault?
Yeah,
the coach's fault. It's my fault. So, I think I need to put my guys in a better position. And, and I told them, hey, I'm learning right along with them. So I'm still learning, and I'll make sure that we don't run into that the next time. So, it's kind of, we're all learning on the go, and we're going to make sure the next time is better than this time.
So they get it close though. They almost got it in a few times.
We were down there. We were down there a few times.
Well, we're going to take a look at some more footage right now. This is the coin toss there.
Decide.
Yeah. Good game overall. Tell us a little bit here, Coach James. What are they talking about here?
Here at the beginning of the game, it's always decided on a coin toss as to who gets the ball, whether you receive the ball or kick. So you bring out the captains, normally the captains, and flip a coin and go from there. Okay.
And how was the Swiss team? They play a lot of games too, or are they fairly new to the sport?
Yeah,
of what you've seen.
They've played.
Because you probably scouted them a little bit too.
A little bit.
You could find online.
Yeah, they've had their club for I think 8 years now. So they've been playing. A lot of those guys have been playing for 8 to 9 years, and they play in a league over there. So they're going into their league season when they go back. So they've been playing for 8 years and probably 10 games a year. So they have some experience. They have a lot of experience over us.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is for the start of the game there, right?
Yeah, that was our kickoff return team. Yeah.
Okay, and I'm gonna get things going. You can see the palm trees in the background there. It was a little windy, huh?
Yeah.
So that affected the kicking too, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. They're kicking off, and they'll be able to kick it a little farther, and then going the other way. We had a field goal attempt, which would have been good without the wind. Yeah, without the wind. Yeah, but the wind does affect a little bit.
So we had some field goal attempts, huh?
Yeah, we had one. Probably should have had another, but the coach said, the coach is still learning.
Well, Coach, I mean, it's good you're taking all the blame there off your players there. That's good to see.
That's
how. And here what are we taking a look at here? Tell us a little bit about this, Coach Paul.
Now this is Mitab. He got kickoff, and he's just
bouncing off players.
Yeah,
huh?
he's fast. He's quick, and he's hungry. He's a good player, and he looks. He's small in stature, but he's a tough kid. Really tough kid, and he'll be a real special one for us. And that was his first kid. That was his first ever carry in football.
Wow.
So it's really nice.
So James, tell us a little bit now what's taking place here for our audience. Give us, like you're the commentator here, tell us a little bit what's going on.
All right, it's 1st down and 10. Our offense.
They're in the formation there?
Yeah, we got a motion here
right
across the formation.
Yep.
That's the fourth down.
That's the punt.
That's
this is
the
fake punt, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this fake punt.
That's a good call, Coach, huh?
Hey, yeah.
Some trick plays
Yeah,
there,
we had
huh?
to start off with one, to keep them honest.
Big boost,
Yeah.
Give the offensive boost.
Yeah. Got the first down there, huh?
Yeah, we got it by a yard. Yeah.
Okay.
It's 1st and 10 now.
So
First
our
and
offense
10,
is
huh?
coming back out.
And then the offense comes back out, and
Yeah, we've been planning that for 2 weeks now.
okay, so
the
you're
first-
practicing
Yeah,
that,
we
huh?
practiced that for 2 weeks now.
Well,
Yeah.
Came good in this game.
Yeah,
Here we
oh,
go,
yeah.
taking a look at the slow motion replay.
Yeah, we
This is
got-
another clip from this. Good tackling, coach.
Yeah, that's
huh?
our defense. Yeah, those guys work hard on tackling every day. They tackle these little blue pads every day, and they do it 50 to 100 times every practice. And
Yep.
So it paid off. It really paid off for us.
And here's the defense right here, right?
Yeah.
Tell us now, Coach Paul, what's taking place here?
You know, they're offside there.
Okay.
They're a false start on the offense.
Okay.
But we were penetrating there. I think we would have had a big play there in the backfield if without
Probably would
their
have sacked
penalty.
him there,
Yeah,
maybe,
I think
huh?
we'd have got a tackle for a loss there for sure.
Okay. And the referees were local referees here?
Yeah, that's Busai. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Well, it's good to see the families coming out.
Yeah,
everyone.
that's the best part about
Yeah.
it. That's the best part about it. It really is nice getting to see all the families and meeting the fathers after the game.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That
Really
is
good.
nice.
That's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
cool.
Having a good time.
The kids
And
running around. Yeah, definitely.
and I know also, tell us about some of the standout players that you saw in this, Coach Paul.
On offense, I think our quarterbacks, Fachawi and Bari, Muhammad Fachawi and Fahad Bari, those guys both played under control, played really well. Our offensive line, those guys, we threw the ball probably 25 times, and they didn't give up one sack. So if you're not giving up a sack, you're protecting your quarterback, and we were able to run the ball really well with Turkey. And so we had some guys that really played well, and and we got guys that will play better, which is really nice.
That's a nice
That was a
pass right there. Look at that.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
hitting that. They work on that every day, and that's number 2, Saad Asaya, and he's one of our special guys too.
That was a good pass.
Yeah, yeah.
Open field right there, huh?
Yeah, and it's a tough play, but he's confident in throwing it, and he's confident in catching it. So yeah, that's something they work on every day. Which
Yeah,
is
you can
really
see
good.
the fans, the parents, and the
Yeah,
family
that's
members
a-
there
yeah.
cheering that one on, huh?
Yeah, it's great.
That was a nice long pass and good overall game in this one between the Swiss team and our Kuwait Gridiron national team. And this game finished in a 0-0 tie. And overall, Coach James, pretty well organized game, huh?
Yeah, it went well. It's a tough job to handle the officiating, but they did a good job. And
The 3 days, 4 days, it was really, everything went well. The visit to the mall.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I think there was also Sheikh Misha organized some excursion out there for the kids,
Yeah,
see the desert.
Yeah, we went
and-
out to the desert.
So
and
that was
on there
nice
and see-
also.
Yeah, it was really.
yeah,
So
Yeah, the
really
whole-
a
yeah.
pleasurable experience, I think, for everyone.
yeah. I think
Especially
those guys
for our
really,
visitors
really
to the state
enjoyed
of
it.
Kuwait, too,
Yeah.
enjoying
yeah.
themselves.
Yeah,
And
they got to
they-
walk around town.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
Take
they'll come
pictures,
back
yeah.
if they get a chance. I think they would come back if they got a chance. So
excellent.
it's
Good to
really
hear
nice.
that.
Yeah.
And more of the people in attendance watching this game. And what are we taking a look at here, Coach James?
Looks like
Handout?
Neuchâtel's on offense.
Yep.
They came in out in
It's a good tackle.
three back formation.
Nasser Ali, yeah.
They're a heavy run team.
They like to run the ball, huh?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
they tried. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they
What about us? More running, or are we more, let's say, passing?
We're going to do both.
Okay.
So we're going to work. We work on both all the time.
It's a nice short
Yeah,
pass, but
passing, yeah,
but he was there to tackle him pretty much. He was right on him.
Play. Yeah, he made a
defense.
good play.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't work, but it's a completed pass, so it's positive, and we're making things happen there.
Yeah. So.
We got our punt team coming out. Yeah.
And one thing, Coach James, I know when
Yeah.
you played college, you were telling me before we came on air, your head coach during college, he did some acting. Tell our audience about that.
Well, his story. It's the movie The Blind Side. Coach Hugh Freeze. That's his story. He was a high school coach, and the story centered around a young man who was homeless and had family issues. And anyways, he was on this team, his team, and they gave him an opportunity. But it was a good experience playing for that coach. He was just a big leader for me, and gave me a lot of confidence. Graduating college, graduating that time of of life, graduating and moving forward. But our team won the championship, and it was exciting. It was really exciting.
So you have a ring there, Coach.
Oh yeah.
Nice ring.
What ring is that there?
The Sun Belt Conference champions.
Yeah, show that up to see that right there. Yes.
Nice, man.
That's nice. That's the what now? Again, keep it still. Your hand there, please.
The Sun Belt Conference champions. Yeah.
Okay, just keep it. Our cameraman will get that. What year was that, Coach?
It was 2011.
Okay, that must have been a special moment for you, huh?
Oh yeah.
Tell us about that game and your team there. What happened?
It was big for our team. The team the previous year was, had a bad record, and when Coach Reese became the head coach, just a lot of changes, just mentally, preparing to win every week, and it's the mindset of that you can win every game. And there were some special leaders on that team, on the defense, and other guys that have since moved on and gone to the NFL. But we learned to come together.
So some of the guys that you played with have moved on to NFL. You know some NFL players?
A few, yeah. There's a few.
Who could you name for people out there who would know some of the, let's say, NFL players who are big fans?
One of my former teammates, Jesse Williams, he's from Australia, he was, with the Seattle Seahawks. Casey Hayward with the Green Bay Packers. DeMario Davis with the New York Jets. Good friend of mine, Michael Johnson with the Cincinnati Bengals. There's a few guys.
So there's a few guys playing there. Okay, that's great. Good to hear that. And now, Coach Paul, tell us, how did you get to Kuwait? Tell us the story of how you got to Kuwait.
I was coaching at a small college in Ohio for 12 years, and my head coach was there for 25, and they decided to make a coaching change. So I was with him. So
sometimes when the head coach goes, his assistants have to go.
And that's football. That's how coaching goes in football. And I'm searching overseas and looking into Europe, and I got in contact with Sheikh Michelle from a website, and we started talking back and forth, and he was telling me good stuff and how it's really a unique opportunity to develop something. So I jumped at it and did some research, and this is a great place and a great place to live for me, and and I jumped at it, and I've been here for a year and a half. And
how's your stay been so far?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, I can't complain.
Well, you're lucky you have a good boss and
a good guy. Yeah, really. I mean, he generally cares about me as much.
Generally cares about people in general.
Yeah, exactly. So, he'll do it.
Very dedicated to what he's doing. I mean, every time I've ever come out, he's always there. One of the first and last people to leave.
And he's working all night, all day on trying to expand and develop what we're doing here.
Yeah, very passionate about what he's doing.
Yes, he is.
What about yourself, Coach James? How did you get to Kuwait?
Well, I graduated college in 2012.
Like a recent graduate, yeah.
Graduated college in 2012, and
so is this your first job? Let's say, job after graduating?
Full-time coaching, yes.
Yeah,
I was doing some part-time stuff back in Nashville, Tennessee, and just helping high school athletes.
Is that where you're from, the state of Tennessee?
Tennessee, yeah.
Okay. What about you, Coach Paul?
Ohio. Yeah,
Ohio, okay.
Ohio, yeah.
Keep going, James.
Yeah, so just helping high school athletes and youth in the area with a local sports foundation, doing camps and combines and
so forth. Yeah.
Yeah. So from there, I had a couple of friends that were international guys, played football from overseas, came from overseas to play in the States, and kind of started learning about how much bigger the game was outside of the United States, and searched, and then all of a sudden I get a message from Coach Paul.
Did you guys know each other before? I mean, you have the same last name.
Yeah.
Just so our audience knows they're not related or so forth, just the same name.
Yeah, it's a little different. Yeah.
So you didn't know each other before that message, huh?
No. So I got a message from him, and then just got the opportunity to talk with him and learn about the team and the opportunity, and heard about the work he had done thus far, and how difficult it was, but he rose to the challenge, and how he did a great job, and I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to join and see how I could help. So we went from there, and here I am.
And how long have you been here, Coach?
7 months now.
About half a year now,
Maybe.
over half a year.
Yeah, it's good.
And how has your stay been in Kuwait so far?
It's been great. I'm really thankful for, Sheikh Mishal and the whole Kuwait crew welcoming me here and showing me around and making sure everything, was okay. They really took care of me, so I'm thankful for that.
So you've adjusted well so far?
I think I've adjusted well, yeah.
Okay. Both having a nice time in Kuwait?
Oh, yeah.
Good time.
Good.
Every day is an pretty awesome experience.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you're enjoying your stay in Kuwait and doing a great job and helping out developing football, Gridiron, American football, right here in the state of Kuwait. And Coach James, tell us about the under-19 team and how is the team doing? How are they developing?
Well, it's been an exciting.
They're the foundation.
Yeah, I really like working with this group. There's some excited guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing them develop. We started out doing things in the pool, workouts, classroom stuff, and it's just a process. It's
Fundamentals, huh?
Fundamentals, yeah. Teaching the game. It's a process though. Every day it's building on what we've done the previous day, and I've been able to kind of consult with Coach Paul on bounce ideas off of him. So he's helped me a lot. And
yeah, he's got a lot of
well,
experience in the business, about 15 years or so, Coach?
Yeah.
So.
For a while.
Yeah, so those guys are excited, and I'm glad to work with them. And we got a lot of work to do. I'm ready to get back to work.
I know you guys have a big game coming up, I think in March, correct? There's something coming up in March with a Swedish team?
Yeah, we have both the national teams for Sweden coming in, the under-19 and
the juniors and the seniors.
Yeah, the seniors. So
look forward to that.
So for us, yeah, we're ready to get back to work Sunday and get headed in that direction towards them and try to not have a tie this time.
I hope. Yeah, I hope we want to see some points scored in the next games.
Yeah,
hopefully by our Kuwait team.
Exactly. Exactly.
And the under-19 International Federation of American, I think, Football World Championship is going to be held in Kuwait. I think coming up this summer. So tell us a little bit more about that, Coach James.
It's the biggest international competition for the age group for the sport in the world, and there'll be 8 total teams here competing. And this sport is big. I mean, there's, I think, 67 countries represented through IFAF, but there's a few more than that play the game. So it's just developing the game from the grassroots level, competitions, tournaments, and that tournament will be held here, and that's huge for the game in this area, for Kuwait to be the forerunner, and so we'll have the USA, Canada's defending world champion from the previous tournament, which was in Austin, Texas, and a few teams from Europe, Japan, I believe, American Samoa, maybe Mexico or Panama. So it'll be exciting. Be good for the growth of the game here.
Yeah, we look forward to that game.
Yeah.
You want to add something about that, Coach?
Definitely. That's the Super Bowl for the under-19. I mean, that tournament there.
That's the pinnacle of that, huh?
And there will be guys that are playing in that tournament that you'll see in the NFL.
Wow, really,
so
huh?
The level of play is
really high, huh?
Yeah, it's really high there. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, we look forward to that. The big event right here in the state of Kuwait, and I know you're recruiting players, of course. You'd like to have more players come out and find out and learn about young Kuwaitis, about the sport of football. So, Coach James, where do you train at? Your times? Tell us about that.
We currently train at the Qadsiya Youth Center in the Qadsiya area, and we go about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Daily? What's your schedule like? So let's say some parents are watching right now and they're young boys, they'd like to play and they'd like to, or maybe not, just learn a little bit, come out for an hour, talk to you both. What's the schedule like?
Absolutely. They can come out from Sunday to Wednesday. It's our normal practice days. It's a good opportunity for them to get into a sport. And we definitely like some other players to come out if they're interested.
So what do you offer? Let's say the parents are, there's so many different sports, We'll go play soccer, we'll go play basketball. Even they have baseball now in Kuwait too, T-ball. But what do you guys offer? What can you offer the youth here in Kuwait that they may not find in other sports?
Well, I think this sport, it's different from, I say all other sports. This is my sport, and it's different because it's such a team sport. All 11 guys have to work together, or the team can only go so far. You have to work together. It's a team sport. You learn discipline, fighting adversity, overcoming obstacles, how to
builds character, huh?
Build character, absolutely, and just being a part of something greater than yourself.
What about yourself, Coach Paul? What do you want to add?
You can't be selfish to play this game. It can't be about yourself, and because you can't do well without the 10 other guys on the field with you. You can't do well without the other 40 guys on the team with you. Yeah. So it really builds a lot of character, toughness. I mean, you go through a lot of stuff with that group of guys. So you end up having a family atmosphere on the team. And if you don't have that,
Very
you're not going to be
close knit group.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's really special, and it's been special here because of the guys are normally family-oriented people. So now we have a family as a team. So
a family within a family.
Yeah, exactly. And guys have met cousins on the team that they never even talked to. They're on the team together, and they didn't know they were cousins.
Wow.
And now they know they're cousins. Stuff like that you only find out by being with the same guys 4 or 5 days a week, and going through sprints and push-ups and
camps,
all the stuff that the coaches make you do that's crazy. But you build character and you build a unity, and that's what the game's about. And that takes you past the sport, after your sport. That's how you live your life. So it's really nice. The sport's taught me everything I know. And I just want to share that with all my guys now.
So people can come out starting Sunday?
Yeah.
What time? About
6
7?
o'clock. 6 o'clock. The young guys start.
Yeah.
6. We start at 7:30.
At the
Qadsiya
Youth Center in Qadsiya area.
Yeah, in Qadsiya area. We'll be
right
there all
across
week.
from you can see the big Arabic Sports Club.
Arabic
Yeah.
Club. Yeah. Right
So
across.
easy to find,
Yes,
and
yes,
it's
definitely.
you see the guys out there playing football.
Yeah, definitely.
So hopefully some of the youth out there, the young Kuwaitis, go out there and experience football right here in the state of Kuwait at the Qadsiya Youth Center in Qadsiya area. And it's a great game, and the game on Saturday, there's a lot of things that took place in that game, finished in a 0-0 tie. And of course, as playing so forth, were there any injuries at all to report in this game?
We had one of our guys that went down. His name was Salim, but I guess he got to the hospital and found out he was okay. So he came.
Just taking the right precautions.
Because
that's why everything I think was so well organized. Ambulance.
Yeah, at every game we're going to have ambulances, so we're going to make sure guys are taken care of.
A professional setup, just in case.
Exactly. And he was fine, and now he was back today. Say, hey, I'm ready to practice next week. So so we're good. Yeah, we're going.
And that's the player right there.
Yeah.
Something you just got to take a little bit of precautions in this game, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
You got a little hamstring problem, Coach James, maybe?
Hamstring?
I don't know. What kind of problem? It looked like he was pulling his back of his leg.
His leg a little bit. But went out there to check on him, just tell you breathe, relax.
Yeah.
Don't tense up too much and just relax.
Right.
Everything's going to be okay. So he was all right.
He was okay, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Just part of the sport. This happens sometimes, huh?
Yeah, every now and then.
Yeah, it does from time to time.
Yeah.
And now we're going to come back and continue with the program right here on Spotlight on Sports. And the game, that one, January 18th, finished in a 0-0 tie between the Swiss team and the Kuwait team. Any more you'd like to add on that game, Coach Paul?
I thought, our guys played really well. I mean, for being their first or second game ever being played, I thought the quality was good. I thought, they knew what they were supposed to do, and they did it. And there were no missed assignments in that game. We might not have did it as well as we should have, but they knew what they were doing. They were confident, and they played together. And now they're hungry. Now they're ready for
now
the next
they're
game.
keen to play even more, huh?
Now they want to play the next game.
Yeah.
So that's key for us.
Definitely so much to build on.
Do you have any special diet that you give the players? I mean, we heard that diet high in protein is meats, and so is that correct, Coach?
Meats, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Meats and vegetables, you know, the stuff you're you're supposed to eat.
Yeah.
Not a bunch of candy and sugar.
Stay away from the fried food.
Yeah,
Fried stuff,
foods,
huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
Just protein, absolutely.
There we go. It's a kick right there. And
Our punt,
tell us
yeah.
what we're taking a look at here, Coach.
Yeah, that was our punt team, which
Touchback, is that what they call?
he kicked that out of the end zone. Yeah, that was our one of our receivers, and he got into it, and with the wind there, took it out of bounds. So then the ball comes back to the 20-yard line for the other team. It was a touchback.
So this game, I mean, in all reality, it was really close. There was so much. We could have scored a few times. They could have scored also, right?
Yeah, they got down there once.
Once, so we were more down than we were in the red zone a little more, which is inside the 20-yard line to the end zone. There's some shots of the American ambassador, I believe, and the Swiss ambassador in attendance, as well as some of the other dignitaries, special guests here, enjoying the game.
Yeah, it's awesome that they came out.
Yeah, because it's very rare to see, the sport of American football being played in such a nice, organized way, and everything going so well, and it's an exciting moment. I mean, we're having a good time right here.
Yeah, I think the production really led to the quality of the production. Everything that was done leading up to the game and during the game was really high quality, and it's and that's a tribute to Sheikh Mashal. Yeah, that was a tough time.
Yeah, there it is, a full-time score of this exhibition game.
It was my second tie ever. I had a tie on my freshman year of college. We had a tie.
What about yourself, Coach James? Ever experienced a tie?
Never experienced
Not as a
tie.
coach, player?
No, never experienced one. So it's interesting.
It was his first time for you, huh?
Oh yeah.
There's always
But
a first time.
I think of soccer. Soccer they tie all the time. So.
Okay. Well, after the game, there was a very special honoring ceremony, and that also went well, Coach Paul. Huh?
Oh yeah, that's nice. Where they they give the dignitaries some plaques, and the other team. It was really nice.
Yeah, we're going to be taking a look at that here.
Yeah, special for the
guys. Comment on this, Paul and James. Can you please comment what we're taking a look
Yeah,
at?
that's the best part of the game. Is almost as afterwards when you get to see the guy you've been battling against all day, and now you can say, "Hey, nice job."
Sheikh Mish'al, Talal Fat Sabah in attendance.
That was the Swiss ambassador.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they displayed a lot of both teams, a lot of sportsmanship. It was really awesome to see that. And during the game, things sometimes you get upset against the guy you're going with, but that's just part of the competition.
It's part of the heat of the moment.
At the end of the day, you shake the guy's hand, and tell him good game.
Hope to see you again in another game, huh?
Yeah. Exactly.
What are we taking a look at here, Coach Paul?
Yeah, they're presenting the plaques there, and it's
His Excellency, the U.S. ambassador.
Yeah, the U.S. ambassador there. Yeah.
Really with nice, Sheikh Mish'al there presenting him.
Yeah. And for us, that's cool for us, being
Americans
from the States and having them come out. So that was really nice. And,
people are
nice for us.
all the time surprised. Oh, American football here, yeah. Oh yeah,
yeah, it sure is.
Come check it.
Come check it out. That's right. And
definitely.
You do have, of course, also a Facebook and Instagram account, and our producer will put the Facebook and Instagram account for the Gridiron, Kuwait Gridiron team, and it'll be coming up. The Instagram, which is very popular. Everyone has Instagram these days. KWT_Gridiron. There it is on the screens right there. And then that is the Facebook. It's right there. Gridiron space K and then space UWAIT. It's an interesting way to have the Facebook right there. So feel free to follow the Kuwait Gridiron, what they have coming up, their events, their training sessions, teams visiting, and everything you need to know on the Facebook and Instagram accounts. Go ahead, you want to add something?
We have Twitter too.
Okay,
Kuwait
what's
Gridiron,
the Twitter?
Kuwait Gridiron.
Kuwait Gridiron, huh? So we can also tweet some things there on that Twitter account and follow what's going on right here in the state of Kuwait when it comes to football.
Oh yeah.
All right, then good to hear about that. You're all covered on the social media and everything, and now we're gonna move on, gentlemen. We have a big sports event coming up in the world. It's an international event, which is the American Super Bowl, the NFL Super Bowl. That's coming up, one of the biggest sports events in the world. It's the biggest in the United States, and I think one of the biggest compared to like the Soccer World Cup, the Olympic Games. We played on Sunday, February 2nd, at the MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, between the Denver Broncos of the AFC and the Seattle Seahawks of the NFC. So, Coach Paul, tell us a little bit for our audience who may not be familiar about the Super Bowl. What is the Super Bowl?
You know, the Super Bowl is pretty much, it's the pinnacle of American football. When you're a kid, that's where you dream to play in the Super Bowl one day. You know, that you get the teams are separated in conferences. So you have the American Conference and the National Conference, and then those two winners play. And you know, the media, the commercials, the advertising. I mean, it's all top dollar. I mean, it brings in. You know,
the halftime show is a big spectacular event. Huh?
Yeah. And
who is that? Do you know the entertainment this year? I haven't seen that yet.
Oh man.
One of those superstars, huh?
One of these
Katy Perry or something.
Yeah,
Macklemore, I think. Macklemore or something. One of these younger guys.
Okay,
guys know
well, it's always entertaining.
But it's always good. Yeah, it's always good. And you know, so it's it's huge. And there's 2 weeks from in between the game, this last game, and then
the media hype.
So the media hype is unbelievable. Yeah, and there's a lot of stories going into it. So yeah, they make up some stories, and it'll be nice. It'll be
and your impressions, tell our audience about the Super Bowl, according what it means to you, and what's it about, Coach?
Oh, the Super Bowl, it's, like Coach said, it's just the pinnacle of the sport, and it's so many people watch the Super Bowl, millions and millions of people, and it's big for those athletes because they want to reach the Super Bowl. The coaches, they want to reach. Everybody works for the Super Bowl. Everybody works to get to the championship. So there's a lot of guys that have been working. Guy I know from high school, Golden Tate, I went to Notre Dame. He'll be playing in that Super Bowl, wide receiver. So it's big. It's big. It's a dream come true. One of those dream come true moments.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at all the sports fans around the world looking forward to that game. The only thing, when you live in Kuwait in the area here, the game's not till like 2:30 or 3 a.m.
Yeah, about 4 a.m. I'll be ready.
So that's the only thing. You gotta sleep a little bit during the night and then get up in the wee hours. But it's once a year, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Once a year, yeah.
And the AFC Championship game, gentlemen, the Denver Broncos defeated the New England Patriots 26-16. Of course, Tom Brady, New England, they were like you could say, arguably the team of the last decade with their reaching the Super Bowls, winning so many of them. But Denver, with quarterback Peyton Manning, recovered from injury, back to top form. He runs the #1 NFL offense.
Yeah, definitely.
And tell us about that game. But before we get to that game, we're going to take a look at a press conference which took place. Reactions after Denver beat New England 26-16 in the AFC title game. So let's get to the highlights right now and listen in to what took place. Stay tuned.
For the season to end like that. But, you got to give Denver a lot of credit today. Coach Fox, his staff, and obviously the players. They did a good job, did a better job than we did. I thought we played hard. I thought we were ready to go. We just didn't make enough plays, just didn't do things quite well enough. And Denver did them better than we did today, and that's why they deserve to win, and they move on. So
they've all been tough at the end of the year. I mean, I've had some losses in the Super Bowl, which have been really tough. Last year's loss in the championship game was tough. This year's was pretty tough. So, losing is not easy. But I give them a lot of credit because they played really well. They made a lot of plays offensively and defensively, and they got a good football team. So they're going to be tough to beat in a couple weeks.
You don't just stroll into a championship game not doing some pretty good things through the season. And, I think our guys, responded. We did well. We have been pretty good in the run. And they're a very capable team throwing the football as well and have been. And it was just a classic matchup and a great game. And I know I was, proud to be a part of it.
Well, it's an exciting feeling. I can remember both times that we won the AFC championship. I'm an AFC guy, I'm biased toward this conference, and so I think it's a hard conference to win. And you feel like you've done something to win the championship. You realize that you still want to win one more game. Whoever we're playing is going to be a tremendous opponent, whether it's San Francisco or Seattle. But you do take a moment to realize that we have done something special here, and you certainly want to win one more.
Well, that was the press conference following that game. That was Peyton Manning. He runs the #1 offense in the NFL for the Denver Broncos. They defeated the New England Patriots. Coach Paul, we were listening to that press conference. So you saw that game. What did you think of that game and how Denver managed? They got off to an early lead. They kind of held New England at bay and won that game.
Yeah, they got off to a quick start. Peyton Manning is he's the master of football.
He's very good at controlling the game.
He controls everything. The preparation he puts into the game is at the level that nobody else can match, and he gets those guys, and they work from the summertime and the offseason.
There he is, Peyton at that game.
Yeah, and he's the guy that everybody wants to be like. So he orchestrates. He has really good receivers, a great offensive line, a good running back, and so he meshes out all of it, pass, run, and they do it all, and they keep you off balance, and he puts the ball wherever he wants to put it.
What about you, Coach James? What's your views on the AFC title game?
Oh, I think it's really awesome for Peyton Manning to come back from the injury, the neck injury. A lot of people wrote him off, said his season's done, his career. Is he going to come back? And I think.
So I could tell from you guys, you're fans of Peyton Manning.
Oh yeah, he's the guy.
He's one of the
What
greatest
about Tom
of all
Brady
time.
there? Not really?
I like Tom Brady.
Let's have your honest opinions here.
Oh no, I think he's.
You guys are both very diplomatic.
He's a step behind, but he's not too far off. The thing about that game was Denver's defense. They put the heat on Tom Brady, and when he's getting hit, he's not as good. If a quarterback's getting hit, then they're not as good.
There's one of the great quarterbacks of all time too.
Yeah, there's another.
Was he the president of the Denver Broncos? John Elway.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and he was. Yeah, there's some quarterbacks.
The legend there, huh? There's two legends there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Now we'll go on to the NFC title game. The Seattle Seahawks with their outspoken cornerback Richard Sherman. He's a key cog in the NFL's #1 defense. As Seattle beat San Francisco, two young teams, 23-17 in the NFC title game. And before we talk about that game, we're also going to take a look at a press conference that was held after that game. Let's listen into that and see the reactions from the players and coaches from the Seattle Seahawks and San Francisco 49ers. Let's get to the highlights right now. Stay tuned.
Seattle, they played a winning game. They won the football game, and they made some very big plays. We made some very big plays. It was a 15-round fight right down to the last. The final interception. Ball thrown to Crab that really could have gone either way. If that goes, by an inch or two, Crabtree catches it for a touchdown and we win. But Richard Sherman made a terrific play. Made a great play, athletic play, batting the ball, getting a hand on it, deflecting the pass. That's what I saw.
Man, I could sit up here and tell you what you want to hear. Tell you that I'm angry, that I'm mad, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to look at you and say, it was a heck of a run. We fought. We gave everything we had, even before the beginning of the season when everyone was picking us to go back to the Super Bowl, and then when we went through that little slump and everybody started writing us off, we just stayed together and we continued to fight, and that's what we did tonight.
And so our biggest goal was to just stay in the moment and to go to the Super Bowl. We're excited about it, but at the end of the day, we haven't done anything yet. And we won the NFC West. That was one of our goals. We won the NFC Championship game, which isn't easy, and to win the whole NFC. But at the end of the day, only one person gets the prize. And so I think that's the thing that we're focused on and we're moving on to. and Coach Carroll, and I was kind of begging him, hey, let's go for it at least if we're not going to kick the field goal. And then you know, he decided that we were going to go for it, and you know, I thought it was a great call. Just give us a chance, you know. It's one of those things that it's the last, you know, potentially the last game of the year, you know, and it's one of those things that sometimes you got to go for something. You got to believe in your guys and believe that you can get it, and sure enough, it worked out the way we wanted to.
To play a game that goes all the way down to the last few seconds, you know, it wound up being a game with kind of a sloppy type of finish to this game. It felt like when we had a chance to go ahead and end it, and we didn't do a very good job of that. But what did happen is we threw a tremendous night of defense out there with you know, one exception, a couple exceptions in there. You know, we really played great D again, and we needed it all the way down the stretch. And it was fitting that we would finish it there with another turnover and a great play by Richard and Malcolm to end the game.
Like I said before the game, if our team knew they were going to try me on
a guy, he likes talking, huh?
Oh, yeah.
That's Richard, what's his name? Richard Sherman?
Yeah.
Tell us about him, Coach James.
Oh, I think he made a great play at the end of the game. And, you know, during the game, it's an emotional game. There's adrenaline rushing, and you know, you're competing against that guy in front of you. You know, if you make a slight mistake, he's going to capitalize on your mistake. So he made a great play to seal the win, but his teammate also helped him, Maxwell. So you know, they talk a lot about his comments at the end of the game, but
yeah, some people didn't like that.
I think he is the best cornerback.
You guys view? You guys are coaches. Was it out of line or was it okay? Coach Paul, you're nodding your head.
Yeah, I like it.
Out of line.
It's okay, huh?
Yeah, well, you know, I don't like the stuff directed to the other team, you know.
Yeah.
But he's excited, and you never know what's being said on the football field because of those helmets, and you know, you can say a lot of stuff to the other guy about that, you know, and that's a great play. I played that position, and that's the toughest play to make in football, and he did it, and you know. And
Coach James, you thought it was a little out of line?
I think it's excusable. You know, Richard Sherman's a smart guy. He graduated with a 3.9 GPA at Stanford in communications. So he's a
he
smart
knows
guy.
what he's doing, huh?
Yeah, I think it was a little
3.9 at Stanford is not something easy.
Yeah, I think it was a little out of line because he could have brought it back to his teammates, and you know. But it's football. You know, it's a lot of adrenaline rushing and. You know,
things happen.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it could have been he wanted to do that, you know, to get more publicity and that for himself, huh?
Yeah, that's
coming up on the Super Bowl and take advantage and market himself even better, huh?
Yeah, well, he's got one more week to prove that.
Yeah, I mean, it should be an exciting game now.
Gets Peyton Manning.
This game now coming up. What's your viewpoints, Coach Paul? We've got the best offense, the best defense. Denver Broncos up against the Seattle Seahawks, February 2nd. Offense against defense, but they usually say defense wins Super Bowls.
Yeah, usually.
So what do you think about this game?
Usually, usually, but you know, I think Peyton Manning, you know, he's only got maybe a couple of years left. And
I can tell you both have a soft spot for Manning there.
You know, I think you know he's going to do a lot of stuff and make those guys cover.
Yeah.
You know, you can't talk and win a Super Bowl, so they're going to have to play, and he's going to push those guys. And I think the interesting part is. Denver's defense, well, I think they'll be able to stop. If they can stop Seattle's run game, then I think they'll be able to control the game. So, you know, I think Denver, you know.
So your prediction, Denver?
A slight edge going.
Close game or
in the cold weather?
Not going to be 0-0.
No. Yeah, I don't. Somebody's going to score. Yeah, and I'm giving it. It'll be a close game. I'd see it being.
Think the Broncos, huh?
Yeah, with the Broncos.
What about what's your views on this game, Coach James?
I think it's going to be a really exciting game, but I like the Seahawks. I like their firepower, and you know they.
I know you like Coach Carroll, Pete Carroll.
Yeah, I like Pete Carroll. Yeah, but I think Russell Wilson.
He's ready a good quarterback.
Yeah, he's ready to challenge for a Super Bowl and. Going against Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning's been there before.
He won a Super Bowl, I think, with Indianapolis,
with the Colts, correct, yes. It's going to be exciting.
So what's your prediction for that game?
I like the Seahawks.
Easy blowout or close game?
No, I think it'll come down to the wire, down to the fourth quarter. So whoever makes, has the least amount of turnovers, plays good defense, and will win the game.
Yeah, we look forward to that game. The Super Bowl will be on February 2nd at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, between the Denver Broncos and Seattle Seahawks. And our two guests are divided, Coach Paul with the Broncos and Coach James with the Seattle Seahawks. And, you know, I swear we didn't set this up before we came on air. They each have their own preference for who's going to win one of those games, win the Super Bowl, and we look forward to that game. And we're going to wind up this week once again reminding our audience of the Kuwait Gridiron football team. Practice going to start Sunday. There's the Facebook and the Instagram. We'll put that up again. And the Twitter. What's the Twitter, Coach James?
Twitter is Kuwait Gridiron, at Kuwait Gridiron.
At Kuwait Gridiron, all one word.
Correct.
Okay, and there is the Facebook Gridiron, space K, space UWAIT, and the Instagram KWT_Gridiron. So the Instagram is full of a lot of pictures of the training sessions, the game that was played on Saturday. So make sure to take a look at the Instagram, follow what's going on, the Facebook also, and Twitter, right? Comment, follow some of the threads there, and just join in the great fun that's being played right here in the state of Kuwait. And if you like, come out Sunday or next week anytime and just learn about the sport at Qadsiya Youth Center in Qadsiya area. It's very close to Al Arabi Sports Club, so make sure to come out 6:30 and check out what's taking place. And at the end of our interview, gentlemen, any last comments, Coach James?
Just thanks for having us on, and you know, it's exciting, this sport. I think the future is very bright here, so thanks.
You're welcome. What about you, Coach Paul?
Yeah, we're building, you know, and you know, we had a meeting today about the game, and you know, guys are excited, and you know, we got new guys coming out that want to try to help the team, and so we're growing, and we're going to be good. We're going to work. They're going to work. So we're going to try to make Kuwait proud, definitely.
Well, we'd like to thank you so much, both of you, for joining me this week on Spotlight on Sports. Coach Paul Williams, the head coach of the senior Kuwait Gridiron football team, and Coach James Williams, the head coach of the under-19 Kuwait Gridiron football team. We appreciate your time with us this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And with that, we come to the end of this week's episode of Spotlight on Sports. I hope you enjoyed all that we brought to you on tonight's program. Make sure to enjoy the rest of your viewing tonight and all throughout the week right here on KTV2, the family channel. Before I leave you, remember to always take care of yourselves and each other, and let's always remember to respect one another. Have a nice evening, and good night for now.